Acting Inspector General of Police Egbetokun Olukayode has assumed duty at the force headquarters here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, with a firm resolve to reform the police. IGP Egbetokun, who President Bola Tinubu appointed, takes over officially following a ceremonial handover of leadership. The new IGP, who is the 22nd Indigenous Inspector General of Police, assures the people that his administration will unveil new tactics to release the great potential the Nigeria Police Force possesses to secure the nation, build lasting peace, and deliver on the vision of the President for a thriving and prosperous Nigeria. On his part, former IGP Usman Alkali Baba says he's leaving the force better than he met it.
As I exit the leadership of the force today, I believe that I am leaving it better than I met it. I believe that I have added value to policing in Nigeria. I hold the firm conviction that the steady progress has been made in all the components of my promise to change the policing narratives and in our journey to restore the dwindling police primacy within the internal security architecture of the country. We might not be there, or we might not yet be there, but certainly the pathways have been clearly defined, firm foundation built, and the giant strides taken for a new force leadership to leverage on his quest for a better police force.
In its history, we face numerous challenges that require the concerted efforts of every citizen to overcome. As the Inspector General of Police, I firmly believe that our path to a brighter future lies in collaboration, transparency, and the reformation of our law enforcement delivery system. First and foremost, I acknowledge our citizens' deep-rooted concerns and grievances against the police. It is no secret that the Nigeria Police Force has faced its fair share of criticism in the past. Instances of misconduct, corruption, and abuse of power have eroded public trust. I am before you today to declare that such behavior will not be tolerated under my watch, and there will be proactive steps to instill discipline across the ranks.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined live from our Lagos studios by Godwin Etakibuebu, a veteran journalist and public affairs analyst, also known as the Guru. Good to see you, Godwin, and thanks for your time. So, Godwin, quickly here, you heard IGP Egbetokun speaking, saying, this sounds very much like deja vu. He understands the perception of the people towards the Nigerian police, and he's spoken to addressing that. How best can a man who's well-known, who's been tested and tried before, work through the wires to ensure that the police is as we want it to be?
Well, the acting Inspector General of Police, Egbetokun, he spoke well. One, I have reason to respect his opinion. I have reasons to know that he will do better. And I have reasons to believe that he will improve on what he meant on the ground, because here is a man that rose through the rank. He's become Deputy Inspector General of Police. As of the time he was appointed, the acting Inspector General of Police, he was in charge of the investigation department, what you call loosely the CID of those days. Meaning, he traversed the whole thing. And more importantly, he has been very, very close to the man, President Bola Tinubu, who appointed him. He knew his mind. If the mind of the president that appointed him is to crush crimes and criminality in Nigeria, I think Egbetokun, the acting Inspector General of Police, will work towards that, because they've been together for years. It's not a matter on him to be looking at the body movement and try to study the language of that body movement, which are not always understandable to onlookers. But because he knew his heart, he knew what he set out to achieve to Nigerians. And because the president who appointed him had gone through the mill, had prepared himself for this task, had delved into the system. He had been a child of the Nigerian system over the years. Therefore, the man he appointed to bring sanity will know and work with him. Expectedly, I am not expecting him to fail, except if the person who appointed him directs otherwise.
Well, let's stretch it now, and there are other issues concerning security which the other service chiefs would want to address. None have spoken yet. But again, you recall, Godwin, Asari Dokubo spoke some hours before the change of guard, speaking specifically about a region you are very familiar with, where he spoke categorically, pointing fingers at some security agents and agencies concerning the nation's cash cow oil. Speak to us how you think. First, again, what was your reaction when you first saw that?
Thank you very much for identifying that a region I'm very, very familiar with. And I have been with that region for a number of years. Asari Dokubo spoke well, except the 99% might be exaggerated. That's number one. Number two, stealing of the crude is not new to that region. It has been there for years. Even before 1956, the declaration of what we got or what we did not get was not accurately disposed to Nigerians. The foreign companies that started the operation there were telling us some fiction. But let's go back to the narration of Asari Dokubo. There is no way stealing of the oil could be possible without top security echelon of the military. When we talk of the military, we are talking of three branches: the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. But the Air Force is less deployed. I'm not talking deployed. I'm measuring here is not official deployment, but less involved. But the Navy, the Army cannot really escape it. Even the immediate past governor of Rivers State mentioned a particular Army officer who was doing this thing and preparing, getting money enough to secure himself becoming chief of army staff. And when you get there, the breaking of the pipelines and co is no more the issue today. They move to the base. They switch off something for them to come in at a particular time and take crude oil away. We have vessels coming. It takes longer hours, days, for a vessel to be loaded with 1 million barrels of crude.
Let me jump in here. I apologize, Gordon. Let me jump in here and quickly so that we can clarify things. It doesn't look like speculation. What you're saying, you said Asari spoke well, and don't forget that the military has also asked Asari to be more specific by coming up with proof. And how can the people? You're a journalist. You know how unprofessional it can be to make some kind of statements without proof or being sure of what you're saying. Now, speak to us on this oil theft. Are you saying truly there is some kind of connivance or involvement by some members of Nigeria's security force?
Suleiman, the truth remains. If the truth must be told, let us identify one fact. Is it very easy to move into the riverine area, the Niger Delta? Either you burst a pipe that is monitored, and where the pressure goes down, you will know that the pressure had gone down, and you will call people, or adjust it to construct your own pipelines. Use them to mingle with the official pipeline. Is it an easy job? It is not an easy job. The end receivers of stolen commodities is the godfather of crime. There are end receivers. We should not run away from this. I am always in the creek. All those big boats being built, all those local refineries being constructed, are they strictly being done by the poor citizens of those areas? You need big money to invest to produce those things. And this big money are coming from some big people. And these big people, they have an arrowhead. It is syndicated. Crime has syndicated the oil industry in Nigeria due to other sectors of the country. In the riverine area where I come from, the Niger Delta, the truth remains that the security agencies play a very, very mighty role in getting this thing out. For example, a vessel came the other day, loaded about 1 million barrels. How many days would that take? It was never to be seen by the Nigerian Navy, by all the security agencies in those areas, with all the equipments monitoring Nigeria territory, until this vessel got to Equatorial Guinea before it was arrested and brought in back here. And some people were celebrating. Have you heard allegations that this thing...
No, let me let you land. Allegations that what? You there?
Have you been hearing the allegation that this thing is being done by the top? Very recently, the naval headquarters was alleged to have been involved. Why, again, the NNPC at the top Echelon was alleged to be involved? I don't think anyone who would expect the Navy or the military to come now to say, oh, Asare Dokubo was telling you the truth. That is not a reality. They will defend that nothing is happening. But for those who knew what is happening there, for those who witnessed the movement of our crude on a daily basis, please, let me just drop this quickly. In about 20 years ago or less, we were producing 2.4 million barrels per day when the oil wells were fewer. Today, the oil wells have increased or tripled. It is just last month or so that we celebrated arriving the point of producing 1.1 million barrels per day. I want to interpret that to the hearing of our listeners. We should know what is happening.
Well, quickly here, Godwin, let's talk about solutions. Looking at the new men, the service chiefs, again, the naval chief is there. How best do you think they can actually arrest some of these key concerns as raised by people of the region and even Asari and yourself?
If we are ready to do it, it can be done. Hypocrisy is killing all of us. And when I say all of us, I mean all of us. Who wouldn't know the thieves? But how do you arrest them? Well, sometimes the man that is asked to secure the place is the one that is the chief or head of those thieves. Except we have a leader who is ready and he says, henceforth, let us steal no more. And if that leader will follow suit, all followers that he appointed, they will follow that path. And the arrest will come. And this end will come to this stealing. We have the equipment. But why are the equipment sometimes being switched off for people to penetrate? Why do we have this language? The sea is calm, you can sail. That is rampant. Maybe one of these days, maybe it will not happen again. I would have asked you, follow me, let's go to the creek. You hear the sea is now calm. Why those languages? So if the leader, the president, if he wants to stop it, if he's ready, like as I'm seeing President Bola Tinubu as a man who is ready for the business, it will stop. Because those he appointed will not go contrary to his wish.
Now, let's see if we can draw nearer to where you're headed. And you're talking about the president and his resolve to end in some of these key melees. How much can the people do to help in the security agencies, specifically within the Niger Delta and even in Nigeria's northern parts where we have banditries and kidnappings and some acts of terrorism? What can the people do to help ensure that these officers and men that will be deployed any moment from now have an easy ride in combating crimes and criminality?
The people can help, but for now, the people are restricted from helping. And I give you only one example. Some years back, when I was with the Punch newspaper as the head of crime bureau, a community, there is Usman, I will mention his name, in a community around Agege, wrote to the police, telling the police that please come around. The movement of some people like this and this and this, it cannot be explained. And maybe escalation of robbery might be associated with that movement. You know what happened? The third day, some people came to his house in the afternoon and they did not meet him. They called the wife, they called the son, the first son, and told him that, what is your father's business writing to the police to come and check this thing? Madam, tell your husband that is not what he came for Lagos for. And for that reason, we are going to leave example. This is first son, we are going to, and they shot the boy dead. The question is that from that moment, would any person related to that man report suspicious movement to the police again? So once the people know that the instruction the president given is being carried out and there is sincerity about it, they will be willing to help. What help can they give than to report matters, what they saw or what they are seeing and what they would see to the security agencies? That's the best they can do, because they militarized the area of the Niger Delta, not by the state actors, but by those intruders. It is a dangerous game, because life is the IOU of any loser of the game. You don't just jump up to say, oh, somebody is building this boat, I'm suspecting this, because the bullet will hit you the next day. So if the people see the sincerity rolling from top, my brother, that is the day the people will rethink and ally by helping the security to go ahead and survive. And everything will calm down. The people are watching the sincerity. Until that is done, nothing much can be achieved. And it all will flow from the president, the way he navigates the dangerous sea.
Let's close by trying to navigate through the murky waters of Niger Delta. You spoke about the increase in our output. How can we shore up such output in the face of such allegations and counter-allegations which the president must arrest?
That's good. Look, the truth of the matter is that the industry we are talking about, I'm talking of the crude oil theft, is the most lucrative industry you can think about. It's more lucrative than even the drug mafia, if you want to know. That's the truth. It fetches money, and we are talking of real what the Warri boys will call wadudu, real big money in dollar, not in naira. Now, what that can be done? Permit me to just a second give you example. This the smuggled fuel, which is different from what we are discussing now, because we are discussing crude oil theft. The smuggled fuel to neighboring countries, if a tanker takes the 33,000 liters of fuel and take it to the next petrol station where it is designated to take it to, the profit margin is 300,000 naira. But if you can take that same tanker of that same quantity of 33,000 liters across the Nigeria border, you are coming down with profit margin of not less than 10 million. And a top official of the NNPC went to the National Assembly about 5 months ago and told the National Assembly that with 5 million naira in your pocket, you can smuggle any amount of tankers across Nigeria to neighboring countries. Which means if a man takes only the tanker that normally would take 33,000 liters and take 10 of it across, it means it's making 10 million times 10. Is that not 100 million in a day? And there are some Nigerians that can take 20 tankers across. So the same thing is applicable, but at higher dimension when you come to the crude oil. So what we should do is that if the president, whom I believe is prepared, don't forget, Asari Dokubo interview in the villa, could it have been without the backing of the discussion he had with the president. That tells me that the president is ready to do something. And of course, President Bola Tinubu, what much stake would he have? Is he afraid of death today? Or what is he afraid of? He has seen it all. He has made it all. Obviously, if he's ready, Nigerians will be ready and he will be helped. And this thing will come to an end. All the equipments that are purchased for protection of Nigeria territorial waters that are being switched off deliberately for purpose will not be switched off again. And I think the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff would follow this and will see peace at the end of the day.
I think it's a fine place for us to say many thanks for being such nice company. Godwin, the Guru Etakibuebu, many thanks for speaking with us.